Welcome to the Tavernside. Chat with Will.
4, 3, 2, 1. Clap, clap. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tavern. I am your Tavern Keeper, Will, here. Before we get on with our amazing interview today, we have another wonderful guest with us. Mosey on down to the towel section down below, where you can find the link to our gift shop. Go ahead. We're having new designs up there constantly. And check out our Discord link as well. Come join this wonderful, wonderful community. Otherwise, we have a phenomenal guest with us to hear words. We have a wonderful guest with us here today. You would know him as Mr. RadTastic from TikTok with over I believe it's 1.5 million followers on there.
That might be the view. I wish I was getting that. We were at 250K and.
Still, hey, 250K is nothing to sneeze at. With over 250K followers on there, he has created his own 60-part series breaking down how he would do a DC cinematic universe. Not only that, but he's also made a couple of other series, detailing his own TMNT universe, his own Marvel universe, having fully kind of plotted out an entire Thor movie for that. You can also find him on YouTube as Mr. RadTastic, where he has made a whole series of videos breaking down Phase 1 of his universe there, kind of talking about going through each of those movies. And from his series, Let Me Write Your Backstory, where people will give him a pitch and he'll write your D&D backstory for us. Folks, Dave RadTastic here. Thank you so much for joining us.
It is an honor to be invited. It is an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
I'm so very excited for this. We did this last time with one of our previous guests. Bev check before we get going. What are you drinking while you're recording?
That would be 32 ounces of water. I don't drink much else besides this because I can't have soda anymore because I'm an old man.
Fair enough. I have a giant thing of McDonald's coffee here because they just got their pumpkin stuff early where I am, and we are now approaching that fall season. We are recording this August 25th, but it probably won't go out until beginning of October here. Okay. So a little bit of a delayed thing. You are a very prolific writer within the comic book TikTok community here, but also you have a very huge D&D background as well. What is your history when it comes to TTRPGs and writing as well?
Writing I started writing my own comic books when I was in kindergarten. They were the adventures of a bunch of guinea pigs, literally called just the Guinea Pig Adventures.
Adorable.
And of course, the coolest, greatest one was named Dave. And then I evolved quickly into fan fiction and just blatant parody. As a kid, I thought I was being the most original guy in the world. And then a couple of years later, I'm like, no, I was just completely ripping off of whatever TV show I was watching at the time. And then I've evolved minorly from there up until fan fiction. I have it started when I was in high school. Started writing my own DC universe. And then TTRPG wise, I've always just been fascinated by Dungeons and Dragons. I did not get to start playing it until only a couple years ago, actually. I did not have many IRL friends who wanted to do Dungeons and Dragons. And I was very lucky to get invited to a group, and they were doing a one-shot, and I got to play Lion Folk Monk. And it was an absolute blast. And then we just keep getting together just about every month. And just about a year ago or so, I have become the host, and I built a Dungeons and Dragons table for us all to use.
Oh, that's cool.
And I got a video of that on TikTok set to Diggy Hole as I'm building the thing together. And it's a blast. I have way too many characters. I got a Hero Forge subscription for kit bashing, and have gone crazy. My friends are concerned. They saw it yesterday. I have 40 characters I've created in Hero Forge so far. Because it's just like the second I get a character concept, I'll just make a 3D model of them just to see what they look like. I can't be stopped. I'm a lunatic when it comes to this type of stuff. I love it. I don't know, just getting the ideas out of my head. It's fun.
I think that you bring up a really great thing there, because I do think that well, first of all, same here on Hero Forge. I don't have the subscription, but it is still like, it is dangerous because I follow the Hero Forge mini subreddit, and so I see like what they do on there, and I'm like, man, so I started like following the tips and tricks of like different creators, and it is so like, it gets dangerous to the point where like, well, I feel like, I might as well like build this character there, or I'll be like, ooh, I want to build a character who's headless. Is there a way to do that? And I'll find someone who's done the thing for like a Dullahan character I made. It's dangerous and it's so fun.
So fun. I'll send you some screenshots after the recording
of my
craziest
adore that
so far.
I would absolutely adore that. So you mentioned a little bit in there, on your TikTok, you've kind of covered a little bit about the origin story of your DC universe that you wrote in high school. It is now going on to, I believe, phase 5 at the moment.
That is the one I'm still trying to lock down. Yes. Yeah.
So what is the origin story for that? How did you get started writing that DC cinematic universe?
This was just a case of lunacy on my end. So I grew up raised by DC. I did not. My family, we couldn't afford cable. So I only had 3 kids channels growing up, and one of them was Kids WB. And so my Saturday mornings, I was raised by Batman, Superman, Batman Beyond, and Static. And the DC was everything to me. And so then in 2008, when the MCU started happening, and we got Marvel, it was this whole new world to me, because I'd heard of the Marvel characters. I'd read a couple things. I'd seen some Spider-Man cartoons, but like a lot of this was new to me. And so I started sort of boning up on that stuff, like trying to figure out what was going on. And then we got a good Thor movie, and we got a good Captain America movie. And I was sitting there, and I'm like, why haven't we had a good Aquaman movie? His lore is so rich, and Atlantis is so cool. So I just sat down, and I was like, what would a cool Aquaman movie look like? And I just started thinking of it. And then I started writing down what I was thinking of that. And then eventually it turned into 2 movies. And they went pretty edgelord grimdark at times, inspired by Superman, Batman, Sorcerer Kings. I can't remember exactly which issue in it, but Superman and Batman get teleported to a magical post-apocalyptic future where all of the evil mages of DC killed everyone, and so it was like a underground coalition of the good magic users of DC fighting against them. But Aquaman was there, but he was glowing and emaciated, and they were like, whoa, Arthur, what's up? And he's like, they poisoned the oceans, and I had to absorb the life force of all of the Atlanteans to save my people the only way I could. And I am I believe they said, like, now I am just a candle burning in their memory. And I was like, well, that's the most metal thing I've ever read. So obviously I was like, I got to kill all of Atlantis and do that to Arthur in this thing. And so I did that at first. But then after I was doing that, I was like, man, the scale of this is too big. Like, Aquaman gets into a fight with the US Navy, and we had to do shenanigans so that the US Navy would pay Black Manta to create a virus that could kill the Atlanteans. And I was like, so it involved, because it's all a plot by Black Manta. Black Manta stole a nuclear sub, framed Atlantis for it, so now Atlantis had nukes and yada yada. And I was like, how's no other hero getting involved in this? And that's when I started getting upset by the concept of what I call threat scaling. Which is an issue that pops up in the MCU. It's an issue that pops up in most things that are doing shared universes now. If you have a problem that is so big and a universe full of people who would step in to help, you need to explain why they don't. And I get, some people will say, you risk the case of over-explaining. I'd rather over-explain than have like Superman just decided not to show up to the end of the world today. Like, no, I want to know why he's not there. Like, you can't explain to me this is a universe of people who can traverse the entire globe in a second and a half. Why aren't they there? And so then I realized, I was like, oh no. Well, obviously, this universe isn't just Aquaman. I'm not lame. And I was like, well, then where was everyone? And so then it just started spilling out. And by my senior year, I had like phase 1 mostly finished. I think I got the notebook here for that one too.
Oh, really?
I have my high school notebook of
it's
what
like a historical artifact almost.
With. So like I had the Justice League movies in order of what they used to be. And, it was Batman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Wonder Woman, Aquaman 2, Green Lantern 2, Superman, Batman 2, Justice League, Wonder Woman 2. It goes on all the way to Justice League 3. So I'd already conceived of a 3-phase universe. Mm-hmm. This was 2011. So Avengers was not out yet. I was 3 phases deep into planning.
So Marvel owes you some royalties there.
I wish. Oh my goodness, if I could prove that Kevin Feige was over my shoulder at times, I would love it. And I have like the synopses for some of the stuff. Many of them have stayed decently similar, and then other stuff I've gotten goofier with it because I watched as the MCU bought more public suspension of disbelief. When in the first Thor movie, they could not really confirm that Thor was a god. They had to stand on the thing of like, no, he's an alien. He just looks cool. And they kept saying like magic is just science. We don't understand yet. Like, hey, that's all this is. And now, phase 3 and all that stuff, we get Doctor Strange. We get the multiverse. We got Howard the Duck. We got all this type of stuff. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
The dogs are playing in the background.
We got the horrible CGI MODOK.
We did. We got that one. I saw someone explain so beautifully just yesterday. It wasn't bad CGI. It was bad character design.
I've seen some really good designs of like how you would do MODOK in the MCU. I believe Nando V Movies did a really good one in one of his pitches of like how he would do it, and it looked good. Like, I think also MODOK is just a weird character to bring to live action with a lot of comic books.
He absolutely is, and he triggers the uncanny valley very badly because you're just taking a normal face and just stretching, and that was it. It was just they just stretched it. But my goodness, just please excuse me for 1 second.
You're okay.
You guys, they get jealous when I'm talking to not them. So,
hey, we always get a spike in viewership whenever a pet comes up. There's been many times where my cat will just jump on my chair, the back of my chair, and there's always a spike of viewership there.
High five. Yeah. This is my boy Luigi. I love him to pieces.
I love you, Luigi. I would die for you, Luigi.
He's your goat. And then his sister Isabel is underneath the table because she loves hanging out underneath the desk.
How cute!
Yeah, they are adorable. But yeah, a way around MODOK looking so weird is just staying comic accurate with how inhuman MODOK ends up being. Mess with those proportions so much that it doesn't trigger the uncanny valley to us.
And one of the things I love about your universe is that you try and stay very comic accurate while still also doing your own thing. And like, I don't even feel like it's over explaining, but it's like there's one thing that you talked about in the intro of your podcast on YouTube of like, you wanted to make it so that there are no plot holes or like there's no points in which people can like point out what is like incorrect or not. Like, and that does mean nerfing some characters, like your Superman doesn't have global super hearing, but that also causes more problems than it does answers. Like, there's an amazing comment you made of like, if Superman has global super hearing, why didn't he save Jason Todd? Like, that's and then in your, I don't know how much, again, spoilers for, I guess, your movies, but
go ahead.
There's I mean, one of the most heart-wrenching scenes in your Batman Silent Night film is when Batman finally calls everyone else in the League, and they just don't pick up because it's on Christmas. Like, Superman is celebrating Hanukkah with his family. You have, like, your Flash, like, just, like, put his phone on silent. Like, it is a tragic scene, but it's realistic in what happened there.
It is. I also intend, like, they do miss that phone call, but it's not like they pick up hours later. It's probably the whole League sees maybe within a couple minutes, but it's just that they're just not phones on Christmas type people.
Yeah.
They're like, this is our time for family. This is what we're doing. Like, we've prepped our stuff. And the one time Bruce finally actually calls it, because Bruce never calls them. That's not what Bruce does. And so then the one time he actually does, no one saw it, and then it's been 2 minutes, and he was calling because he was actively witnessing Jason being beaten to death on live TV. It was not like Joker does that reveal and gets to work pretty quick. It's not going to be like I have Jason, because if Joker did that reveal and then it was like 2 hours until he decided to beat him to death on camera, Bruce would have called the League. It's like, it's like they got the kid. Flash would have come in and swept the city in literally 1 minute and be like, got him, done. Like, we're wrapped. But Joker knew when to strike. Joker knew everything. You gotta to stay consistent with this stuff. These people have to be the villains have to be terrifyingly smart and well planned out, and the heroes have to be good people who are capable of making human error. And in this case, not even really error, just missed a phone call by a minute.
And I think that's also a great thing when it comes to TTRPGs too, of like playing your characters, of like, you want your bad guys to be smart. Like, you want them to know what they're doing and what's going on. Like, I feel like a player can sense when a DM is almost pulling their punches there. And so, like, it's the thing of like making sure that your villains it might suck, but they're doing what they would do, and it's breaking and you're not breaking that verisimilitude.
Yes. There is a beautiful case on the player side too of it's what my character would do, but in a non-toxic sense of like,
even
if it is detrimental to your character. And I just did that yesterday in the game. We're doing a sci-fi campaign right now. I am playing a battlesmith artificer. Our BBEG, as we just found out, is a robot. Is a being who figured out how to transpose their soul and put it into a robot. And so my artificer, who has a robot that he carries around, I managed to find the blueprints for the BBEG's body. Ooh. And my artificer is no wisdom, all intelligence. I rolled for him just because I was like, what should I do? I rolled for it. I rolled very badly. He decided to make a new body. So in the back of the ship in my room, I'm building. I just kept saying, like, I'm building Ultron in the back room right now. And I told the DM, I'm like, I'm ready for this to break as bad as possible. I told the players all know above the board. I was like, so I'm building this back there, and they're like, oh no. And I'm like, and he's not telling any of you because he thinks it's a really good idea. And they're like,
you're going like full brother eye there.
He thinks like, whoa, this thing's super powerful. I should build one on our side. He sees no downsides. I, the player, do. And then I asked my DM the other day too, after the session was done. I was like, hey, so I have no actual plans for this. I'm ready for it to break as bad as possible. If this guy kills me, it's whatever. My only ask, if I die before I'm done building the robot, can the robot be my backup character? And I turn it into a Vision instead of an Ultron? And my DM's like, absolutely, fun. Yes, you can. So my artificer will accidentally create the first sentient robot in the universe.
Ooh,
if he dies.
That is really cool. We've been kind of like dancing around it, but the kind of topic that you came up with that you want to address in this episode is this idea of adaptations and character interpretations, which I think fits very neatly into a tabletop role-playing game, because as the hobby expands, there's a lot of different systems that are coming out based off of different franchises. I mean, one of the most common like D&D things people do is Critical Role, and people love playing their games in Exandria. I know so many people have done Exandria games in the past. So when it comes to adaptations and stuff like that, when you're doing something based on an IP or a popular character or something like that, like say you're running a Marvel or DC superheroes game or a Star Wars game, where do you draw the line of keeping what people know about the setting or the character and stuff like that, while also still doing your own thing as well?
It depends on entirely what type of adaptation you are doing. If you are doing a sequel, then you have to stick to the rules of canon. The rules of canon, of course, just being anything that's been said and established, you gotta run with it. But if stuff has not been hard stated as fact, there's your wiggle room. That's what I call soft canon. Stuff that has been implied to be true, or we understand to be true, but based not explicitly on anything we've ever actually seen. Based entirely off of context. That is where you can get in and really just start messing with stuff. And hard canon, to me, never mess with. You can recontextualize some stuff. My favorite types of retcons are recontextualization of events, not erasure of events. These are, that to me is what lands in the realm of acceptable. But then if you are doing a reboot, if you are doing your take on stuff, this is not the traditional universe you're familiar with. This is a new version of that universe. No rules. Okay, one rule. The characters need to be consistent. The reason these characters are fan favorites, the reason these characters have existed for so long, become this franchise, and been adapted so many times, is because they resonate with people. There is a reason these characters resonate. If you change the character, removing the reason they resonate with people, that is a bad adaptation. And I know that good or bad adaptation is something that's absolutely completely subjective, and no one has the right to objectively say what is or is not a good adaptation, except me! I do! The loudest man here! No,
what's the worst Superman?
I can absolutely definitively say that the worst Superman in live action is Henry Cavill's Superman, to no fault of Henry Cavill himself. He did what he was handed. He was directed the way he was directed. That ain't the boy's fault. No shade towards him.
It's also so funny you say that, because Jake, our recorder, is one of the most diehard Man of Steel apologists too.
I felt I was being punished the other day. I was in the gym, and 2 days in a row, the movies playing were Batman v Superman and Man of Steel.
Oh no!
So needless to say, I hit some good PRs that day. But I was watching it. I was trying to watch it under a good non-biased lens, because especially now that the new Superman movie is out and my soul has been partially healed, I was like, I think I can watch this under a more objective thing. And it is just a complete misunderstanding of core character. It is a complete whiff on it. It is, I can respect the attempt of, let's try to put Superman in a more, unfortunately, realistic world. A grounded Superman where the world itself is realistic, but Superman is still his sort of fantastical self. Absolutely respect the attempt. I think they whiffed it. I think they went a mile wide with the thing, because they messed up the character. Because Superman didn't act like Superman in it. He had all of Superman's powers, but his character was not the same. There are people who do exist in our objectively horrible world who are that nice. And that's the only... If you're already making the conceit that this man can fly and lift 1 million pounds and shoot fire out of his eyes and breathe ice, why is nice the unbelievable thing? That's what I can't, Superman's core, the reason he resonates. And as proof, this new Superman came out where, he's happy, he never swears. I mean, kind of. But, he says gosh and golly. And
he said, we are introduced to that character by him losing his first fight. So we get to meet him at his lowest, and he's still the most, we see him at his absolute lowest when he believes that the entire world is against him. I think I am one of the people who's allowed to speak most about the Superman movie. I have now seen it 6 times in theaters.
Amazing.
I was really depressed during the month of July, and I have AMC stubs, so when I was like in a really bad place, I would just be like, man, I gotta go watch Superman again, and I saw it 6 times. I think it's hands down one of the best superhero films ever made, in my opinion.
All right, I said it in another podcast I had been invited to. I said specifically reviewing that movie. James Gunn's Superman may not be a perfect film, but I do believe it is a perfect Superman film.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think what really, really does it as someone is that James Gunn, I think, is one of the best directors for that, and I think it's a very interesting thing for any writer, DM, or otherwise to look at, because he is someone who absolutely will always put character first. He is someone who will... He is a very, very, he's a genius of character-driven storytelling. You can see that through the Guardians films, through the Suicide Squad films, through all that stuff.
He made Rocket Raccoon saying his name an emotionally powerhouse of a scene.
Yeah.
Good Lord. The ability to do that. And it meant something. Come on.
And I also think another one of the things that James Gunn does well is he is someone who truly loves the medium that he's in. He is someone who loves comics, and I think that any writer can take that, is that whatever you're writing in, find what you love about it. Yes. James Gunn loves James Gunn loves a story about an outsider or someone who feels like they do not belong, be it Superman in a world that kind of is embracing cynicism and corporations, and still him being this beacon of hope, or the Guardians being these external forces in a society that doesn't really care about them. He didn't direct Brightburn, but that is also a film about an outsider there. He is someone who is absolutely loves his stuff. You got to the point where I think James Gunn is now a director who you can do the Gunn-isms. You're always gonna have an outsider, someone getting hurt, some kind of dramatic eyeball torture of some kind, a big needle drop in your fight scene.
He is, I don't want to use it, he's a visionary. The man, he loves the sandbox in which he's been given, and truly just wants to have fun with it, and he gets what makes the characters. He doesn't, even in the case of, I might offend some diehard comics people right here, he made all of the Guardians more interesting characters.
The Guardians were also C-list heroes too. So that'd be if you're okay, cool, my new Marvel team I'm doing is that I'm doing the Great Lakes Avengers. No one, asterisk, because someone's always someone's favorite, no one cared about the Guardians before that movie came out. To take something that people don't find that interesting and to find what's interesting about them is always a fascinating thing. I even think DMs can take if you're what you said about that soft canon, take what you find interesting about that world and fucking run with it there.
As fast as you can, as far as you can. If it excites you, screw the rules. Do the thing that excites you. I never hide it on my channel. I am autistic. I need things to fit into certain parameters for myself. So for me, I have very hard rules that I need to follow for my process. But at the same time, when I'm watching adaptations for stuff, I get upset depending on the change. It is so 50-50 whether or not I'm going to like a change or not that I'm presented with. So I find it so weird when then I make changes myself. because I view source stuff as so near biblical. Like, you can't mess with this. This is the word. But then someone will be like, actually, I messed with this word. I'm like, that's a really cool way to mess with it, though. Oh man, that's great, actually.
Well, I think
and
that's
I find
so.
The sin, the thing that I cannot stand, it's the corruption of what makes the character resonate with audiences. If I like a character and they're like, we're going to do an adaptation of your character, and you give me that adaptation and I don't like it, I'm the audience. You have failed me here. And I think if you're a fan of the character, if you're doing an adaptation, if you like what the thing is, you're probably gonna make it pretty good adaptation. There is a case for people who don't know what they're talking about, because sometimes the lack of knowledge on a thing can lead to some really good innovation. I think if you can pair someone who knows absolutely everything about a universe with a writer who's never experienced it before in your life, you're probably going to get some pretty peak stuff coming out of that combination.
That is, yeah. No, I absolutely I agree with that. Like, because I think that there's a healthy balance you can get of extreme reverence and lack of reverence, because that's where we get some really interesting things of like, okay, cool, I'm gonna fuck with stuff, and then you get some people like changing some stuff, not even changing or like things, but like adding some really interesting wrinkles into your universe that you're like, okay, cool. That there's a very fascinating story when it comes to our when it comes to the world of Valoria that Jake has talked about on multiple other occasions. But one of the world of Abhaile, there's a part of the fantasy world that we play in where when he asked someone basically like, hey, throw something weird on the map that I'll have to explain with world building. And so the artist drew in 3 lines in the middle of a continent, and it was like, and Jake was like, okay, cool, how do I explain how there's these weird 3 lines cut into it? And that's how we got, in my opinion, one of the most heartbreaking and beautiful stories on our channel here, called Shadows of Valoria, which is a tragedy about like 5 people who don't know that they're already doomed, trying to save a world that's already failing them, in which it's such a fascinating. And so I think that like you can get really interesting stuff out of there of like, that would have never come about if that one artist was like, cool, I'm going to draw 3 lines in the middle of a continent.
Yeah. You never know what little changes might create the biggest waves. What is going to be the thing that causes the time boom. I love that concept so much in Flashpoint.
So I have a question relating to your DC Cinematic Universe here.
Yes.
In your Batman movie, which if you have not watched any of Dave's stuff, go onto his YouTube channel. If there's one page I say you have to listen to, it's the Batman movie page. I think it's one of the most fascinating dissections of that character, to the point where like I was listening on my way to a convention and I'm like, hey, I just like called my fiance and I'm like, I have to play you this. I think this is one of the quintessential understandings of the character that pulls from not only just like what we know about him, but also makes like add some really interesting wrinkles to the canon there. And you do honestly one of the best Bat credit card jokes there too. Which I gotta say, as a diehard Batman fan and a huge nostalgia critic fan, made me laugh so much when I heard it the first time.
I am very glad. I gotta throw in the Bat credit card. So,
gotta throw in the Bat credit card.
Context for people who don't know what's going on. I simplified stuff. I just made Jason Todd and Tim Drake raise the street together. They were foster brothers thrown into the same Gotham City foster care system together. And Batman finds them in the movie, and he sees how disenfranchised and down on the luck these boys are. And so Bruce Wayne, being a total cool guy, basically just hands them the Amex Black card, the CEO's discretionary fund card, and just hands it to the boys. Are just like, a Bat credit card? Yeah, it's basically the Bat credit card of like it's Batman's This is where he buys
It's
all
the
the
back-
stuff for. Yeah, it's the one he pays for stuff with.
But there's a fascinating choice that you make in there is that we see, thank you, Jake, for sending us the image of the Bat credit card.
Yeah.
There's a fascinating choice that you make in there where, because we're only teased at Batman's existence in previous movies. Like, we see him as a swoop of a cape in your Suicide Squad movie there. We are introduced to your version of Batman kind of at one of his lowest points, where we see like right after he finds out who killed his parents there, and we see him kind of in that mental health spiral there, and we're shown him explicitly as a way of like, this is out of character for him. How do you balance showing that character being not themselves while also having it be our first introduction to that person?
This is entirely from the benefit of we all know who Batman is. 99% of people going to see a Batman film know who Batman is. So I felt very safe starting this, especially from a starting point, just with him being out of character, with him being, and it's an out of character we're also all familiar with still. We've seen the storylines where Batman acts like this, where he turns on the family, the panels where he punches the boys, the panels where he sucks, like the things that all of us go like, that's not Batman, and that's not very fun to do. That is still, unfortunately, a part of the character, and it is a part I want to sort of nod to, but it's a part of like, and that's what he grows beyond. He grows from there. He is at his worst point, and this is a time. Batman is a character that we all know is defined by the fact that he is a loner. He is also has the most kids of any other DC character, and most titles are Bat family members. It's, I think, literally half of all published DC titles running right now are the Bat family or Bat villain related. He is. There's a reason DC is called DC. It is Detective Comics was the brand. That was the one that popped off. So I wanted to start with Bruce at his lowest point, because I also don't. A fall from grace is a fun thing to witness at times, but I feel, especially the longer you go with a franchise, it gets a little more depressing. And with what I have Batman do in mind, I didn't want the grimdark, anti-social, hates everyone Batman for the last project for very good reason. Because I bring him lower. I couldn't do that to him. I wouldn't feel good, especially just as the audience. You wouldn't want to go rewatch the stuff of like, oh, let's go watch these movies where Batman's life gets progressively worse. I was like, no, I'm gonna start it at the bad point. It's gonna get really good, have a very sad downturn, a little uptick, and then that's a wrap. That's a wrap on Bruce.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Consequences. I love them.
Consequences for your actions.
Consequences for your actions. Death has meaning, as James Gunn has also just recently tweeted out of like, dead is dead. Like, We'll see how many people end up getting brought back with stuff, but I don't like lack of consequence. Like, I love Dragon Ball. I adore Dragon Ball as a franchise. I will not have any patience for any Dragon Ball fan who tries to talk to me as if the series has consequences. I love it. I just want to see my big, strong men yell even louder than last time and their hair change a different color. I know what I'm in it for. I adore Dragon Ball. Do not act... The universe has been blown up. Everyone's died a trillion times. You can do anything with the Dragon Balls, and now you're friends with God, and you can just do stuff. Like, it's whatever. There's not consequences. And I don't want to tell a story with no consequences. I think consequences are the most important parts of stories. The character flaws are what make characters. As I believe it was George R.R. Martin said at one point, sometimes writing a sequel is about taking a character and seeing how much worse you can break them. And I believe it was him. I hope so. But that's sort of the goal sometimes, is you want to throw stuff at characters, and with characters like Superman or your more optimistic characters, like I just had this discussion with my 10 now 11-year-old nephew. He didn't like the Superman movie because he didn't like that Superman didn't really have character development through the movie. And I had to sit him down and explain to him a flat character arc, and what that means is like sometimes a typical character arc is a character goes through change throughout a story. The world changes the character, and that's what we tune in to watch. In the Superman movie case, it is the opposite, where it is how does the character change the world, and that is also like those are the types of stories that you can get. And when you're dealing with adaptations and iconic characters with that, I think a lot of stories you do get is how does the existence of these characters change the setting in which they are in. And then that's a fun another adaptation thing. If your character is defined by the fact that they are the unchanging thing and it's the world that changes around them, you want to do an interesting adaptation, flip it. It's like let's create a world that will change that character, but then you got to be wary that if a character's existed for so long being amazing and unchanging, you got to be careful what you change about that character.
First of all, I have to say, very smart nephew there of like being able to identify like that, like character arcs and stuff. Like, oh, he didn't have one. Like that is very intelligent for an 11-year-old. Kudos to that.
He frightens me. This boy is going to be so capable. It is. Everyone keeps making jokes in the family that he's basically just a mini me, and I'm like, no, this dude is an upgrade already. Like, guys, he's miles ahead. He is the most. That kid is a genius, truly.
Is there any when it comes to the characterizations that you've done before in your DC cinematic universe, is there any one that you're the most proud of like, I think you hold this up as your example of like, I love what I did with this person, of like, I love how I presented them, either in a way that you think hasn't been done before, or you think that like this is not to like toot your own horn, but like this, you think that this should be like the definitive idea of the character?
I do get scared to toot my own horn here, but I think Bruce and Dick Grayson. I think I really poured my heart and soul into those two characters because I adore Superman. Superman has had good live action adaptations. So my Superman adaptation, I think I did very well. But I also think that's pretty much like that. Yeah, that's Superman. Dick Grayson has not had great live action adaptations. He has had 2 so far. He has had, I think, in just ever. Batman and Robin and
Batman. Oh, I was good. If you can count Jason Gordon-Levitt's character in Dark Knight Rises, but also like
maybe because he's not even Dick Grayson. He just says like, oh, people call me Robin, and you're like, well, he was just sort of a guy called Robin. So like to him, he's just sort of a Robin because they didn't even just like, oh, that's not Jason Todd, that's not Dick Grayson, that's not Tim Drake, that is a whole different guy whose name is Robin. And I'm like, sure. Yeah, sure. Okay, whatever. Like, that's not an adaptation to Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson's only had 2 live action adaptations, and it's Dick Grayson. He's one of the most. Oh my goodness, Burt Ward 3 live action adaptations.
I forgot
Burt Ward. I forgot. And I'm watching Adam West Batman right now, and I forgot Burt Ward. I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, 3. He has had 3 live-action adaptations. Burt Ward's adaptation existed before the character ever became Nightwing or any of that type of character development happened. The same goes for Chris O'Donnell's character of Nightwing did exist, and they paid a little bit of homage to that with the suit design in Batman and Robin Forever, or Batman Forever. But it was still, he was just any 90s character of just like, oh, he's the cool 90s guy. Sure, why not? And then
he rides a motorcycle. He says like, I was going to say he says ka-chow, but that's Lightning McQueen. He says stuff like radical.
He basically says ka-chow. His entire vibe is like, whatever, old man, let's do this thing. Like, that's just sort of the whole vibe of the character. We're like, cool. That's not Dick Grayson.
He's like the Zach Morris of Robins, and you're like, that's not a good, like, Robin shouldn't be Zach Morris. Like, Robin shouldn't, like, unless you're probably, like, I guess Teen Titans Go Robin, but he also now goes between making fart jokes and explaining taxes to children. So
yes. And Dick Grayson, Dick Grayson is a ball of charisma and kindness who was raised by a ball of anger and vengeance.
Mhm.
And I feel like my Dick Grayson is a good adaptation that shows the growing into the leadership role, the reverence of actual heroism and helping people. Him just being the coolest guy, but also him fanboying over the other heroes and looking up to these amazing role models, because it is canon that Dick Grayson gets the name Nightwing from Superman. Superman's just like, oh, dude, did you know we basically had a Batman and Robin on Krypton, and does a PowerPoint presentation? And then when he's just like, can I call myself that Batman? And Superman's like, yeah, why not? Like, you're awesome. Absolutely, you can. And I love that adaptation, but also it's like, let's not pretend that Nightwing isn't like you're trying to get someone to say bat and those are your two hints. Like, we know it's great. But Nightwing has not had a good adaptation. He's also the hardest person ever to fan cast, because you can't find someone that hot. I'm not sure if they exist. I want them to, but good lord.
It's also very hard to, because unfortunately, you want to get like a Romani actor to play him, because that is a huge part of the character, which I'm also very glad that you kept in your adaptation too.
Yes,
this guy has to have this part of him.
It's a wild thing to do, where a writer's racist whoopsie. So many people have put so much effort into making okay, and it has been integrated into the character in such a way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't want to remove representation. There's so many characters. I have an Excel spreadsheet, which I call the DC Universe Diversity Dependium, where I've mapped out every single character I have, and then I have like their comics, nationalities and ethnicities, and then I have what I'm doing with the character, because I wanted to see how close I could get to actual real world representation numbers, just going off of the US Census.
Which I think is a really fascinating way to do that, and because how can people claim that you're being too woke? And I absolutely hate what the word woke has become, because this is literal representation of at least numerically, it is a fascinating way to do it. So many especially in fantasy, because it's a world of elves and dwarves and stuff like that, of a lot of times people don't think about diversity, but also with players at the table, players come from all backgrounds. It is not I hate the fact that I have to say this in this political climate, diversity is not a bad thing.
No, it's the whole reason things are good.
It's always a fun thing to try and challenge yourself. It's a fun thing to try and challenge yourself, to be okay, cool, let's see what I can add. Let's see how, we can, let's see what, and also, again, major caveat of you have to think about what you're doing too.
Yes.
You have to be okay, cool, I can't, there's the idea, I have an extreme theater background. There's the idea of color-conscious casting versus color-blind casting. Color-blind casting is the idea that anyone can play any role no matter what. And color-conscious casting is the idea of, hey, you got to think about what casting this person in this role says about the certain thing. And so
I got asked for my DC Cinematic Universe, people were asking me oh, hey, I think you should make Roy Harper Native American. And I said, hey guys, look, while I love the move for representation, I'm going to sit you down and explain to you why that is bad decision on your part, and is actually contributing to quite a few problematic stereotypes. For one, you just want to make him Native American because he's an archer. That's a lot of the motivation behind this. And two, you are forgetting the fact that Roy Harper is famously an addict, and that is a negative stereotype.
Yeah. So we have about 30 minutes left here, so I do want to move into a game that I had prepared. One of your series on your TikTok page is called "Let Me Write Your Backstory," where
Yes.
you will people suggest like, "Hey, I want to play like a dragonborn monk who comes from like the mountains," and you'll give them like an entire detailed thing of how you do that there. And with you also being such a DC fan and like talking about adaptations, I'm going to give you a couple DC characters, and you're going to let me know what backstory, how you would port their backstory over to D&D. How does that sound?
Yes. 1,000 times yes. Oh my goodness, yes. I am so excited right now.
Let's start off.
Shaking in anticipation.
You and I's favorite, Superman.
Not only do I not have to wing this, I have this character made.
I have also made this character too. I have a character prep named Arthur Adams, who is I'll let you know what I would make him late in a second, but
yeah. My Superman. Some of this you need to let the DM run with stuff. You don't want to hand a DM a too dense backstory that is like unchangeable and unbreakable. You want to hand some more suggestions over. So start with the easy stuff. Okay, origins we're not gonna know. Here are the facts. Years ago, a platinum meteor crashed to Earth, landing in an orchard run by two lovely farmers. They ran up to this comet, seeing that the whole thing was made of platinum, but when they touched it, it immediately all melted around, leaving a burning crater, and inside is an Aasimar infant with a pendant. The pendant on the back is unreadable to them. It is some amazing holy language that only the angels can read and no one nearby knows. The family, of course, worried for the sake of this child, adopt this child, raise him as their own. He grows up to be big and strong, and then one day he finds out that he has inherent magical abilities? Oh my goodness, what? Sun Soul Sorcerer. And then if you want to go from there, what I did was I multi-classed this boy into Paladin. So you had a big, beefy man. You got Firebolt for heat vision. You also got Scorching Ray, comes out the eyes. Ray of Frost, right out the mouth. They can fly at a certain level of time. They get some healing magic. Sun Soul, the dude's linked to the sun. You can flavor it that way. So boom, there you go. He's an Aasimar trying to figure out where he's from. And then, you can either go the route of like he's literally like maybe a troop of angels were attacked by some sort of monster and they had to send their baby away. Or maybe he's a demigod. Like there's a million different ways you can take it. And I think that's the fun that's where you keep it a mystery and let the DM do that bit. You come in with like, I was raised on a farm. I am here to help. Yes.
I basically did the same thing. First of all, I love how you keep the origin very similar, but you also bring in some of the other like inspirations for him. Of course, you have like, the Moses thing, because Superman famously created by two Jewish men, but also you throw in a little bit of the Momotaro aspect of him too, of like the peach the peach that he comes out of. The way I built my Superman, I had a very similar backstory of he was an Aasimar found by farmers, grew up to be a folk hero background,
yes.
And then I gave him the one monk that lets you, the sun monk that lets you like shoot fireballs from your fists.
Yes.
That do like radiant damage. No, I love that so much. Next one I have for you, John Constantine.
John Constantine. Okay. I am not as familiar with the wizard subclasses, but he's absolutely going to be a wizard, not a sorcerer. But with that, high intelligence, you got to also do this guy high charisma. This is John Constantine. You are a wizard who has always dealt... you did not go to a magic academy to learn your spells. You learned magic on the streets. You grew up disenfranchised. We can keep the if you want, you can keep the abusive father, the kicked out, the bad times with demons, sister being taken by a demon, and that's of course, family member kidnapped by a monster is one of the most classic
great adventuring
get.
backstory there.
Right there. So your sister Cheryl, oh no, she got taken by a demon, and now you are trying to hunt her down. You're trying to figure it out. So you were just you were a scrappy wizard on there. What is? I don't know enough of the wizard subclasses to come up with which subclass specifically he should be off the top of my head.
I feel like he would probably be, because we did an entire bit about the wizard subclasses recently, so that was my brain. I think probably abjuration or conjuration has because he's someone who's always summoning other things to do his shit for him.
I was leaning abjuration magic with Constantine. I feel like that is so good, but I was just wondering if there's scribes, war magic, necromancy, illusion, gravitation. No. Abjuration or conjuration, that's your boy right there. That is one John Constantine for you.
Amazing. Going to Gotham next. Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. All right. I'm gonna go elf. I'm gonna think elf here.
That makes sense for
her. Come from an elven society where she was raised to be proper and good and great, and the sort of a fantastical equivalent of the doctorate sort of role. Have her. I'm not sure if criminal psychology is still the thing you want to rock with here, because unfortunately she has to kind of famously be really bad at insight checks. Or no, in this case, just roll a very unfortunate natural one. The most unfortunate natural one you could have, and the BBEG done got her. She was, if you can get away with it, if your DM already has one prepared, this is your elf. She was seduced by the BBEG and fell for the BBEG, and was of course later tossed aside, not needed by the BBGs. Whatever, if you want to go the abusive Joker route, do that. If you just want to do it as he truly never cared and she was always just a tool, and maybe the affection was more one-sided than she thought, go with that. If you do want to go the route of them genuinely in love, but he is just so psychotic she couldn't do it anymore, stick with that. And then I think Arcane Trickster Rogue feels pretty good.
I would see that.
For
or either
Harley.
no, because you can't do Inquisitive because she has to be bad at insight checks, and they're too good at insight checks.
Well, she could, because there is it is a more recent thing. Originally, when Bruce Timm created the character, she was just a bad psychologist. She was just bad at it. And it was, in fact, a case of she did sleep her way through her diploma. That was canon. Recent stuff has gone actually, let's make her good at this. And the one dude she didn't catch was Joker. So maybe she's actually really great at insight, but not with him. Maybe there's come up with some sort of character flaw of there's a specific type of person she can't read or something like that.
Or I feel like maybe, because if we're going with the Fae aspect, maybe you have Joker as some kind of strange archfey.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe some kind of autumn or winter archfey who's the Lord of Lies or something. So the strongest of people can't. You can even
go full blown just mythology with it. He is the Loki of the Fae.
Yeah.
You have been seduced by the trickster, the goofball. Except this guy's a little less trickster goofball, a little more cruel sadistic. He's just been around so long that he derives joy from misfortune of mortals. And so stringing you along, being in love with you for this whole time, that was just a game of just oh, that's I haven't done that one yet. I'll make someone fall in love with me and then rip the rug out from under him. So you are out for revenge against an archfey. And maybe you'll meet a really hot dryad lady.
In the another secondary challenge with this one, Scarecrow, but he's in the same party as Harley.
Oh, in the same party as Harley. All right.
This is completely this also is completely me being so self-centered here, just because Scarecrow is my favorite DC character.
Jonathan Crane is a great one. I think I always love the bit. if Jonathan and Harley like were in school together or knew each other previously from work. So
It
we're
is one
rocking
of my
with that.
favorite. It's one of my favorite tropes because then you get like because there's that like famous like scene from Harley's Holiday where she's about to get let out and like these Batman and Robin are bringing Scarecrow in and he's like full on like in this like very like heightened like insane state and he looks over as like good evening child in reference to Harley and then goes right back into him like scream Hosanna Scarecrow something.
Yes, it's so. So Jonathan Crane in this, you are from the same town as Harley. You're similar background vibes. I think you were broken by another archfey. I think this is a case of a prank got pulled on you by a powerful entity that horrified you to your core, and that is what psychologically got you so linked on horror and fear. This character would then go on. What is a good subclass to elicit lots of fear? This is, I'm not sure, like
Whispers Bard?
College of Whispers Bard could yes. The College of Whispers Bard, that'll absolutely do, because high charisma for intimidation, especially if you can magically boost those intimidation rolls as a sort of means of fear gas, or your greater your minor illusions, your greater illusions, your even just the cantrips, just to do like a spooky noise in the background, to really weaponize thaumaturgy in that way or something. You can get this guy who is just obsessed with freaking out your enemies. You're not the guy, you're not going to be front lines to fight. You want to be sort of weaving between stuff to try and scare these people as much as possible. Like you're
scaring people before the fight even starts.
You're going to want like Psychic Lance, and you're going to want what's the spell where you summon the image of their phantasmal fear?
A phantasmal killer, I believe.
Yes, Phantasmal Killer. You summon the image of their worst fear, and they take psychic damage the whole time. You're going to build this character around dealing psychic damage. And
Dissonant Whispers,
then you're just going to
probably.
That. Oh yeah, that's going to be absolutely. Yes, usually when I'm doing the write your backstory stuff, I have I have all my guides like out, and I think about it, and I start reading through the subclasses and everything to find to start not min-maxing, but perfecting the build of this character for what you want him to do. But yeah, it's a College of Whispers Bar.
As we're approaching the end here, I have two more for you.
Yes.
Deep cut here, Big Barda.
Big Barda, okay. I mean, you gotta go Goliath.
Yeah, I feel like Goliath is great for her.
Fighter or barbarian, and I get like the flavor with this character will definitely come more out of the role play and the backstory versus the mechanics themselves. But you could also have some real fun with this. You could do the new Path of the Giants barbarian and let your Big Barda grow on raging.
That'd be great.
And Big Barda turns into Bigger Barda. Like that could be very fun. Or just, of course, champion fighter, Big Barda, just she throws hand. Like, come on, that's
greatest fighter in the land.
So you are it's not her father, but you could make it the father, or you could just make it the chieftain. You come from a terrible Goliath tribe from a volcano, because come on, the head of this tribe is absolutely just a dark side character. He has the gray, craggy skin. He's got all that stuff. Make him some sort of...
Which I feel like for a Goliath, make it like a dark side-esque Goliath from a volcano would kind of be amazing. Maybe he's possessed by a fire spirit, so that's why he looks all like ashen and craggy.
Make him some sort of maybe warlock, barbarian, multi-class thing. Because
we love our warlock, barbarian, multi-classes on this channel.
He can throw hands with stuff, but then he has his pact with the Ancient Old One that makes him what he is, or he is the Ancient Old One. That's always the fun thing of... In this fantastical setting, instead of in my universe, I took it as Darkseid sort of touched the void, and the void became Darkseid, because as the antithesis of existence, it didn't have anything to push onto him. So it was a much more horrifying case of a sentient creature touched infinite nothingness, and infinite nothingness became sentient because of it.
That's so horrifying. It fits the Lovecraftian cosmic horror of the Green Lantern so well.
It was just a fun one when I was sitting down trying to conceptualize anti-life, because death isn't anti-life, it's the absence of it. And I was like, what is anti-life? And I was like, I don't think it's even a thing. I don't think it's like it does not have a consciousness to possess Darkseid. And I was like, so Darkseid was the initial consciousness, and he tapped into it and he became cosmic. And so that could all for this fantastical setting here. I think the more fun thing though is there is a deep, dark, bad thing in this volcano, and a teeny little Goliath boy oopsie doopsie sold his soul to it, and then it's just him. Like it just whatever was this guy, it's that like the pact was, I get to inhabit your body, but I make you the most powerful thing ever. So maybe this was a tiny little disenfranchised boy. And then Big Barda, that boy grew up, that boy took over this volcano, he organized the local tribes into this massive evil force of death, and then he of course created the Furies. You know, he's going to get his female warriors on there, and you come from the horrible school that this guy, maybe this is his wife or his mother or his sister or his cousin or just someone else, but this equivalent of Granny Goodness, she trains all the female fighters, and you grew up in this horrible academy. You killed a bunch of your fellow students growing, like that was the final, like, hey guys, it's time for finals, kill your bunkmate. Like, and then you did that all the way up. And so you were coming from a traumatized, horrible place. And then eventually, you know, your adult brain turned on and you're like, this is wrong. The brainwashing turned off. You didn't want to be a part of this. You ran away. And, you know, you could go the route of like, maybe you scot-freed your way out of there. You met the guy. But I think if this is just for, like, we're going to focus just on Barda and her stuff here. Barda makes the decision. Barda escapes. Barda runs away from this. But you are running away with that thing of, I need to set this right. And so your character is out there trying to do good, trying to make up for all of the innocent people that she killed growing up, all of her sisters in arms that she literally strangled to death to pass. And I think that's a lot of very fun trauma that you get to play with fun trauma. Oh boy, but you know, if you want, that would be a blast.
If you even want to like twist the knife even harder, you could go Ancestral Guardians Barbarian, where
the ghosts of her sisters.
Well, because mechanically it makes it so that they like you can force people to target you, and so that like your rage is the ghosts appearing, and then basically like, you know, like the ghosts are angry and violent and trying to kill you while you're alive.
Oh man! Oh,
now I want to play this character. Now I want to play this character.
Ass. And I'm gonna I have not DM'd yet, but Darkseid Goliath is going in the back pocket now.
That is
like that's a good evil right there. Because like, of course, evil Goliath's always fun, but evil cosmic horror Goliath who lives on a volcano with a race of bug monster servants. There you go, and there you have.
He has like a shit ton of Thri-Kreen followers. Maybe
there you go. He somehow got a Thri-Kreen hive. Maybe just deep underneath the volcano, so he has his parademons of like he can just send out these bugs. And they.
Well, now there's a kind of empty spot in one of my world. That's the volcano. I think that's just who lives there now. I think Darkseid Goliath just exists in there now. And the one who started all, Aquaman.
Aquaman, oh my darling angel boy, of course.
Gotta be a Triton. Gotta be a
Triton. I was trying to think of any of the other aquatic races that would be more fun or apt, but it's not. It's
Sea Elf, Water Genasi, it's gotta be Triton.
It's gotta be Triton. You gotta land on Triton. And this is where you play with the fun. He's a half Triton. You're gonna go with that. He's a half Triton. You still play just mechanically a Triton, but he's a half Triton. He looks a little bit more human. Maybe you got a cool gradient. Maybe you got almost like a vitiligo going on from the blue scales to the to the whatever human skin color you want to do. And we're gonna go, the absolute classic route of this your father was a fisherman living in a local village, and one day when he was out fishing, he caught your mom.
Oh.
He caught your mom. He pulled up the fish nets that day, and your mom is a full Triton or even a mermaid if you want to go with that. Go whichever route you want with it. And of course, she is on the run because she is actually, of course, she is the princess of an underwater kingdom. She is lady of an underwater kingdom if you don't want to go too huge with it. But she is a royal running away from an underwater kingdom because she is being forced into a marriage that she does not want. And then she stumbles into a marriage that she absolutely does. And the two of them get married, and it's this lovely thing, and they're from a teeny little fishing village, so everyone there is totally aware. They're like, oh yeah, the lighthouse guy, the lighthouse fisherman man, he married a mermaid girl that they found. But they don't know anything about the royal part of it. They just think, like, oh yeah, your mom's a mermaid. And then you were born, and then, you gotta go the classic route of the guards came to her one day of like, hey, we're at war right now, and your father, the king, or your mother, the queen, or your uncle, whoever her guardian was like, the royals are all dead, and we need you to come back because we are screwed. And so she does have to make that decision. She decides, like, hey, if I'm not going to bring my baby to war, I'm not going to bring, oh, by the way, everyone at war, here's my half surface dweller baby. She makes the hard decision, the impossible decision to leave him with his dad. And so she leaves. And so you get raised, like, your mom is a mermaid. She's down there somewhere, but maybe she was really reluctant to talk about it. Maybe you don't know exactly where she's from. You don't know which underwater kingdom. She never told her husband. She told him the specifics of like why she left, but she never told him the specifics of exactly where she came from. So there's that fun little mystery, because then, of course, if your DM's rocking with it, they'll find you. And then, of course, your younger half-sibling, who was a full Triton down there, who is just sitting there like, I don't like this guy. Grumble, grumble, rumble, rumble.
And I also feel like Ocean Master is a great fantasy name for a character.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that is
just as a good
title. It's a great fantasy title to give to someone. I feel like this is a clear... you take the Ford's paladin subclass of like Oath of the Open Seas, like you have that nautical paladin, like you go like full plate. I feel like full plate armor Triton, like maybe you can have it like gold, like or like golden scale mail. I feel like fits Aquaman really
golden
well.
Scale mail, some really cool homebrewed magic trident. Maybe. I guess it would have to be a magic item. You could try to multi-class into Druid just for a little bit, or maybe a cool Druid homebrew subclass that lets you, talk to water animals and control them more.
I think that's
almost
just
a
Triton ability that they have.
They can just talk to fish, of course.
I think that they
I think
Tritons
can
kind of just
talk
to fish.
I think is the language.
I'm quickly looking up Triton right now, but I think that's just an ability.
You could almost an aquatic beastmaster ranger. For specifically, you just keep summoning sharks and aquatic creatures to fight. Hard to do on land, as I'm saying it. So the paladin's much more doable for a character who's going to be walking on the land with the rest of the party. But if you're like a boat or a pirate campaign, and you're playing a guy who can summon sharks just on a whim, that's a fun character to play.
Emissary of the Sea. You can communicate simple ideas to any beast, elemental, or monstrosity that has a swimming speed. It can understand your words, but you have no special ability to understand it in turn. So that's kind of just what Aquaman does anyway.
Yes, that is just Aquaman's thing. So do that, and then just let the DM be like, with advantage with advantage you can talk to the fish, because come on, you want to be able to convince the Kraken to fight for you.
Oh, absolutely. Voiced by Julie Andrews as well. The Kraken also has to be voiced by Julie
Yes, of course, voiced by Julie Andrews.
we are getting to closing time at the tavern here.
Yes.
So our last segment that we always do here, I shamelessly stole from Pop Culture Happy Hour. It's what's making you happy this week. So basically, is there a something that you're watching, reading, different stuff like that? If you don't have one in mind, I can go first.
I absolutely do, and it is a reason that I must leave soon. Primitive War has come out. Primitive War is a movie adaptation of a book. I have not read the book. I've learned about its existence through the existence of the movie. A bunch of soldiers uncover a valley full of dinosaurs and have to run for their lives. It is an R-rated Jurassic Park horror thing. It's so
I
good.
love dinosaur horror. It's always so interesting.
I'm so excited. I have wanted to see this movie. They were super reluctant to release a release date for it because it's a smaller studio, so it had to be put out as a special event. And then it finally is coming out as a special event, and it only was running Saturday while I was at work, yesterday in the dead center of my D&D campaign, or today in about 35 minutes.
Fair enough.
And I was like, well, I have no choice. My love of dinosaurs must. I am compelled.
As we can tell by the Spinosaurus print.
As you can tell by my lovely print of a swimming Spinosaurus. I love dinosaurs, and I love scientifically accurate dinosaurs.
I have to check out that movie. That sounds kind of like the greatest pitch of all time. You'll have to let me know how it is.
I absolutely been getting. I was very scared. I looked up the writer, I looked up the director. Their stuff had not been critically well received in the past. I was a little scared. This movie's getting really good reviews across the board. It's getting like 80%, and I was like, I gotta go. I have to go.
For me, I've been getting way back into cosplay as of lately.
That is awesome.
So it's amazing to do it. This has been like a couple months in the making, but like it was really cool because this weekend last weekend actually, I was in a cosplay group, and we were getting like consistently stopped at a convention. Like it was we were cosplaying from the series Hazbin Hotel. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I was Adam, and my lovely fiance was Lute from the show, and so like we got stopped like 20 times. No, it was. I think it was 13, but like still, we got stopped a lot over the day we were in those costumes to ask for pictures, and so it's been so fun lately. I have like a giant list of characters I need to cosplay.
That is amazing.
I'm trying to get my fiance to do Zatanna and Constantine with me. Because I looked it up, and the coat's like $10 at Walmart, and I'm like, well, I might as well get the coat for Constantine.
I have been wanting to do it for so long, and I was always thinking about it would be impossible, but now I keep looking at a filament 3D printer. I want to cosplay Beetlemon from Digimon.
Oh, fun!
So it is such a good armor to wear over a suit and just make that cool big beetle carapace helmet. And I would love if I could figure out how to program the eyes, because I've seen people do the LED eyes, and like if I could just have them over my face to blink every now and then, that'd be
cool.
The coolest, because Digimon eyes are so simple. They're so it's just white circle, black circle. It's nothing. I would love it. That is so cool.
With the remaining 2 minutes we have here before you have to go see your wonderful, wonderful movie, is there anything you would like to shout out before you go?
Let's see. I will plug. I'll do my plugs of. Hey, follow me on social media at Mr. RadTastic. I do not use Instagram, as I do not like Mark Zuckerberg. I have an Instagram account, but don't expect anything to get posted on it. You can follow me on TikTok and YouTube. Follow my podcast, Radical Ideas, wherever podcasts are posted. It will be coming back. I have no definitive date for that, but I am not quitting. I have just been working on my own original comic book.
That's so cool.
No time on that. I am in the early phases of drafting. Then coming up, by this time, if this is posting in October, will have come out maybe about a month ago. Please check out Something to Do with Spider-Man, I think. It is a podcast. A group of guys took the Sony universe and ran with it. And
Ooh.
and for season 2, they're bringing on guests to do guest pitches. And so my episode we will record hopefully sometime next week if schedules match up. I will be pitching Man Wolf for them as
fun.
I feel it is made for me. But yes, go check out all of that, and of course the Nerd Academy podcast. People who've brought me on several times.
Yes, well, thank you so much for coming out. It was an absolute blast. With the past 2 interviews we've done, there's been multiple times where I forget that I'm hosting because it's like I'm like, oh cool, I'm just like it's like watching an episode of one of their podcasts. Like, oh no, I'm hosting at the moment. So thank you so much for coming on. It was an absolute blast. Everyone, keep telling stories. We'll see you next time at the Tavern. Have a great rest of your day, y'all.
Bye, everybody.